I guess we go back from having something fun to something bad. So we're gonna talk about the worst television shows. Do you want to start, OC, or?
Sure. I think for me and maybe for you guys as well, I don't have a lot to mention for just worst TV shows, just because I tend to I think
Avoid
it's easier
them.
to avoid bad TV shows than bad movies, because if you're in a movie theater and it's bad, you're there, you're gonna watch the whole thing.
You paid for it.
Yeah, because you paid for it. But for TV shows, if unless I hear it's good, I'm usually not gonna watch it. But some of these, some of them got me. Some of them got me. So okay. I'll mention actually just one of them really. Velma. Velma was a TV show that I was interested enough to watch a couple of episodes. And it definitely disappointed.
Was it like a hate watch where you're like, I'm like going into it, you were like, let me see if I'm gonna hate it as much as everyone else?
Probably, yeah. If I'm being real,
I was like,
I wasn't too excited about it, but I gave it a chance. I watched like 2 episodes.
Wow.
I'm curious, was this before we did that reaction video on the funniest moments, or this was after?
I think so, yeah.
It was before. Okay.
Yeah,
wait, did you watch it, Chuku?
No, we just did a reaction video. That was all.
So you reacted to something you didn't watch?
I reacted to the clips.
Oh.
Of course I wouldn't watch the show.
Yeah, I know. I didn't watch it. It's on my bottom because I was saying for just putting all that discourse on my Twitter that I didn't want to read. I was like, dude, what? I don't know. And I like Scooby-Doo too, so for that show to kind of have these horrible versions of the characters, I didn't want to entertain that and give them my view.
Yeah. And then some of the other ones that I avoided because I heard about how bad they were. Gotham Knights. I didn't watch because I was like,
is that
Gotham
Knights?
Isn't that the CW one, right?
The CW one.
The one that has Cassiel.
Oh,
no idea, bro.
He's like Two-Face.
I've never even heard of this. Are you sure you're not talking about the game?
No, it's a show.
It's a
CW show that has to deal with
it's
like
the kids
Knights?
of the DC characters.
No, I haven't heard of it.
There was.
I feel like I would have heard about it.
Oh
That's
no!
crazy.
Well, I'm glad you didn't.
Yeah. So I avoided that one, and then of course I avoided Secret Invasion, just because that was also in the midst of the whole disappointment of Marvel. Then once we got to the end of that, we heard about the terrible.
Yeah, it's so funny how it's more entertaining to watch the bad reviews. I don't know. It's just like everyone's hating on the show, and you're like, this is kind of fun.
Yeah. So I avoided that one, but I think that's all that I have for now for TV, worst TV.
All right. Most of mine is disappointment, but I'll start off with something that is, I guess it's less polarizing. The other one, I think a lot of people may have some controversial opinions on it. So start off with the Yu Yu Hakusho live action. Heavily disappointed with it. I mean, I know the stigma, it's an anime live action. What do you expect? Well, One Piece changed my mind. And I thought with the way it started off very promising. And the fight scenes alone is like one of the best fight scenes I've seen in a live action TV series.
Are you talking about Yu Yu Hakusho?
The Yu Yu Hakusho
Okay,
one.
I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, they have some good fight scenes, but the problem starts with episode 3 because it's only 5 episodes, so it's like you're trying to wrap up so much stuff, and they try to wrap up one of the best arcs that is important to not just Yu Yu Hakusho but anime, which is the Dark Tournament arc. So when you try to wrap all that
in one episode.
Huh?
They did it in one episode?
No, the point is they try to wrap all that arc in 5 episodes. So if you think of 5 episodes of material to wrap that arc, it's just, there was just so much things. In fact, I even made a, what's it called? There was a YouTube short that I put on the channel that shows the difference between the anime and the live action. And it's just like, there's a scene where he gives her the orb, and then like in the anime, he struggles for it. And the whole reason why he struggles for it is because it's supposed to show, the orb is supposed to represent that for him to be able to adapt it, it means that he had to be a stronger version, right? As opposed to the live action, it's just given to him. There's no struggle whatsoever. And it's just like, it cuts the meaning behind that. So that's one of the biggest problems with it, that Yu Yu Hakusho was a big, like, one of the, it was the pioneer of animes that are about like characters working hard to become the best versions of themselves. You gotta go through the pain to gain the trials for it, and you really felt it, and for it to be undermined by quick stuff, here you go, all that, it just killed the story for me. So
yeah, I watched the first episode and I was intrigued, but then to see Urameshi like already come back to life at the end of the episode, I was like, what happened to the trials?
oh yeah, exactly.
Well, yeah,
Exactly.
It threw me off. And I was going to give it a chance, but no. I don't think I
Yeah.
will.
I mean, if anything, just watch the fight scenes. I think those are really good.
Yeah, I've already seen them all.
You see all the fight scenes?
Like on
Okay.
Twitter, yeah.
Okay, good. Yeah, so those are good at all. But yeah, it sucks because Yu Yu Hakusho is my favorite
Yeah.
90s anime. Like, I
Oops.
like it more than Dragon Ball Z. I like it more than Cowboy
Whoa.
Bebop. Any 90s anime, I put Yu Yu Hakusho above it.
That's fair.
So-
I think it's because in One Piece, because you mentioned, actually, we're probably all going to talk about it later, but the creator was heavily involved. Yu Yu
Yeah.
Hakusho, I didn't
Yeah.
hear anything about
Yeah,
that. They
creator
probably,
wasn't.
I think the writers' room, like they didn't care to translate that then.
Yeah.
Even like they didn't know how important it was to like Yu Yu Hakusho fans. To,
Exactly.
Like, see it.
But
I'm
to
so-
be fair, the creator also is created Hunter x Hunter. So I think maybe people were thinking, oh, maybe he's too busy on Hunter x Hunter to care about Yu Yu
Oh, 'cause
Hakusho.
he jumped back into writing Hunter.
Yeah, so
Well,
I
I
think
mean-
that's probably one
Or
of
maybe
the...
he was just not interested in like whatever. That's
Yeah.
their
I mean,
show.
yeah,
Like, I don't
Oda
care
is
about
still
that. Like,
is still doing One Piece.
Yeah, but he's
So-
he's been working on that series since. He didn't just leave One Piece and work on a different series. Versus this creator, he's like, I'm done with Yu Yu Hakusho. Now it's Hunter x Hunter, and it's
but
like
they murdered his boy.
exactly
yeah,
they
he's
did.
busy doing other stuff.
Yeah,
Yeah, what's Oda doing?
yeah. Next would be, and this one's a disappointment: Attack on Titan.
Oh shoot.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, I read the manga, so I knew where it was going.
Yeah.
And I will admit that the anime, I've said it before, on a spectacle level, it's very entertaining, and I enjoyed my experience with it. And I would even recommend people that if you had the choice to read Attack on Titan the manga or watch the anime, just watch the anime because it's a better experience. But at the end of the day, the problems are still there. They assassinated the character of Eren Yeager, and there's just a lot of things that just don't really add up and make sense at the end of the series that killed it for me. So the more I looked at it, like the more you think about it, the more you find more problems. That's how I felt about it. It was like, that's how I felt about it. So yeah, so that put that in my disappointment list. The other one would be Bel Air season 2. I liked the Bel Air season 1. I thought it was a cool way of taking Will Smith's story inside the Fresh Prince of Bel Air and making a drama adaptation to it. I felt like this season they went in a direction that was just kind of meh, weaker than they did in the first one. So I definitely took that out. Black Mirror season 6. I just felt like there were so many episodes that were a little bit disappointing for me.
I can probably include that on mine as well, just
'Cause-
because I didn't even finish it.
Oh, you didn't? Wow,
I didn't
that's
even
crazy.
Finish season 6.
I mean, I was cool with the idea of adding horror elements to it, but it just ruined the whole. Like, Black Mirror has consistently been like sci-fi, and then now that they had the supernatural aspect to it, it just kind of, for me, felt the story. It made the story a little bit weaker because now it's like it takes that whole idea of like, oh my god, this can actually happen, versus like, oh, we know these people don't go in. So, not to mention, I feel like they played off this whole theme of like, hey man, you shouldn't make stories off of people's trauma, like, and to me about that, it's kind of vague because you can argue every story is about trauma in some way. Someone's in pain and you're trying to see them resolve their pain, but they really were hammering like, hey, we shouldn't be profiting off of people's pain. So I didn't really like that.
Black Mirror?
Black Mirror season 6, yeah. They had a lot of episodes that were basically about, the premise is this person's doing something that like is basically, the premise is like the character discovers something that is like it's a pain story, and then there's a question of should that person be trying to sell it to get profit off of it. There was a constant theme, like there was 3 episodes that had that same theme.
Oh, I know what you're talking about.
Same theme in 3 episodes.
Yeah, you're not wrong.
So it's like 1 episode of it's fine, but 3 episodes, it's like, okay.
Like the
we
very
get-
first episode was like that with like the AI.
to some degree, yeah.
and
yeah.
a lot of them had the same theme.
Yeah,
I
they had
agree.
that same thing. They did it with that. They did it with the There's like the
Yeah.
episode where they're at that hidden land or something like that with the scary stuff. And then there was another one with Zazie Beetz, which had the same theme again with them profiting off of people's pain and all this stuff.
Oh, I love Zazie Beetz.
So I don't know. Point is, they repeated that too much, which I felt was disappointing. And
That's sad.
yeah, and those would be my I guess worst for television.
All right. Any other negative ones? I have one. It's not like super negative, but I have the Fall of the House of Usher from Mike Flanagan. Again, I'm a big horror fan, so I liked all of his other Netflix
Really? I feel like
series.
I've only heard good things about that.
Fall of the House of Usher?
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I
I haven't
think-
seen any of it, but
I think it's just. Did you see Midnight Mass?
No,
Midnight Mass is a masterpiece, and that one is very performance driven. It's character driven. I mean, you could say the same thing about all of the different like A Haunting of series even, right? But for the Fall of the House of Usher, I think there are just some things holding it back. I think having to tie everything back to, you know, the literature can sometimes take you out of it, because Bruce Green, the actor, like will be having a conversation with someone, then he gets all poetic for a second, and he's a great actor, but then I'm just like, oh my god, like I know what you're doing. It kind of reminds me of like Baz Luhrmann's Romeo and Juliet sometimes, and not in a good way. And it's, I mean, this isn't a spoiler. It says it like at the beginning of the episode, but like, you know, his whole line dies, and every episode like covers a different death from one of his kids, and they're like really despicable, but not in like as entertaining as like say Succession, you know, like, and so, you know, when they die, it just like doesn't really hit that much, and you know, the monologues just aren't at the level that they were in Midnight Mass or even, you know, the other Mike Flanagan shows. And so it was still entertaining, you know, to a point, but I don't think it's at the level that his other shows have been at. So it was a little disappointing for me.
Okay.
Yeah. Attack on Titan was also on my list. Disappointments.
Yes. They really assassinated his character.
Yeah.
There's no.
We've said enough. You basically expressed how I felt.
Okay.
I haven't even watched the anime ending, so that's how disappointed I was after reading the manga. I was just like, this is it? That's it? I know OC particularly enjoyed it, but
I'll have my time to talk about Attack on Titan.
We're gonna have our rebuttal. I'm waiting for the rebuttal. We're gonna rebuttal
I
this.
didn't even finish
there's another one. I actually watched a lot of anime this year.
Okay.
I don't know why. After visiting Japan
I wonder why.
in April, like I just watched more anime. It's so weird. But I watched Goblin Slayer season 2. I think it just finished recently, but at a certain point I like dropped it because it was just so boring. Yeah. That's all I can say. It was just so boring.
Yeah. When things are boring, they're just boring.
Some animes, they just have episodes where they don't do much. It's like filler, you know?
Yeah.
But for this particular one, I don't know if there is. I can't compare it because I haven't read the manga. But it felt like most of the episodes were filler, like 90% of them.
Okay.
So that's how boring it was.
Yeah.
And then there was another anime. I can't remember its name, unfortunately. I could just describe it to you guys.
Sure.
It's one of those. It's not full isekai, as in like they don't die and get transported to a different world. They're still in their world. But this guy, he's like this otaku, like fat dude that doesn't ever go out.
Me about that.
Yeah, and like.
Oh, does he like change his appearance or something?
Yeah,
I've heard of it.
Is it called looksism?
No, it's not lookism.
Oh.
It's not lookism. It has a similar theme though, I think, because what happens is his grandfather left him some magical like portal to another world where he can enter it, and he does so, and he finds out that his grandfather left behind like these like amazing high-powered items, and one of them makes him like skinnier and like good looking and everything. And it was such a missed opportunity because he could have just trained, because it was like a break. He could have just trained and became skinnier.
Exactly.
But instead,
Train
a
hard.
magic item made him like skinnier. What's so funny?
It's because the beauty standards.
Like you just go to the gym, dude. Just get a pump on. Just go to diet. Eat a salad.
In the anime, he was actually working with weapons and like going hardcore. Like they could have made it. They could have easily just made that switch and say like, okay, yeah, he just trained so hard that he lost a lot of fat. That's like reasonable. It's not like
Yeah, but wouldn't you take the easy way out?
Well, the magic thing wasn't even him activating it. It just happened. It was like he went to sleep and he just woke up skinny.
That's like your main problem with it. You're like, that's unrealistic.
It's not that it was
It's an
unrealistic.
anime.
It was just the message behind it. It's just like, oh yeah, like you don't have to work hard. You just have to find some magic item and then look skinny and attractive, and then everyone likes you or something.
Scott hates lazy people and he hates fat people.
Whoa, hold on. I didn't say that.
That's okay. Crystal with the straw man arguments are
we're
here.
off of Barbie.
The straw man arguments. It's okay, Crystal.
No way.
I think
No, it's just the way you say things is like really funny. Like it can be. I understand you.
Yeah, I know.
But it's like really funny.
It's just the wrong crowd will be
I'm
like,
not-
"What?" He said. No, it's kidding.
I'm not. I think it's hilarious.
He doesn't understand the fat.
I'm sorry. I'm
That
not trying to
movie.
fat shame anyone. It's just the anime.
It's
the way
like,
it
yeah, he
presented
lost
it.
that weight, but he didn't deserve to. He's still fat on the inside.
It's just so weird. Like, why
Yeah,
they do that?
I get it. We understand.
But basically, the story's about like nothing. So it's just like him acting cool and people thinking he's cool. And
Do you
that's
think
it.
it's like maybe like a self-insert, and this is like revealing the psyche of the
It,
creator?
it feels like that, and then like
Yeah.
Is
It's
he
like a Wattpad fan fiction. Like,
Yeah,
oh,
and
she
the
woke
creator
up with
fat?
clear skin.
I don't know, man. Didn't look into it, but that's pretty much it.
Stop shaming him.
That's pretty much it.
All right.
All
What
right.
about
Oh,
best?
we have to
now?
go into
Okay,
good
we
ones
can-
now.
we're-
Bye.
okay. We can go on a lighter note. The best.
I think our lists are gonna look almost identical.
No, I highly doubt
I
it.
think we have different shows.
Yeah, all right. So Attack on Titan. I was in the camp of people who did not read any of the manga and was just waiting patiently for Attack on Titan to finally be done with its pretentious and obnoxious part 3 of final season part 2 thing that they were doing. So all of that build up definitely worked against the show, in my opinion.
Yeah.
However, all that being said, I think that the ending was perfectly fine. I think that given where the story was at by that point of season 4, getting to that ending, it was I don't see how else you could have ended that show.
Were you more relieved that it ended, or were you like, "This is a good ending"?
I mean, probably.
Oh, thank God,
Wait,
it's
wait,
over.
no.
Probably,
I'm just kidding.
probably the rollout might have contributed to like the fact that okay, this is finally actually the finale as like
Yeah,
opposed to
so it's
whatever
just like,
they did 2 years
okay,
ago.
it's over.
Starting 2 years ago, yeah. But now, I think after having watched it, it was like, I don't see how else they could have ended this story, given where it was at this point.
That doesn't sound super positive.
I
No,
definitely.
I mean it was like
I strongly
this was-
disagree.
as far as like, I don't see how they could have done it better. Is what I'm
Oh,
saying.
I definitely disagree.
I
but
just
that's
think
a whole
that this
different
is like
story.
a weird thing for someone to say, where it's like it's in your top.
I have to because
I
you guys
think,
put it in.
I think, guys, we must remember.
trying to fight us.
Guys, wait, guys.
I'm just devil's
Hey,
advocate
look,
here.
Because you guys
all,
put it in
all
the
I'm gonna
bottom,
say,
I have to
as
put
a
it in the
disclaimer
top.
to the people watching this, OC loved the Game of Thrones ending. So if he was okay with that ending,
No,
Attack on
because
Titan.
that's
say I-
exactly what I was thinking.
Point is, you found
I
it.
said that the Game of Thrones ending
I don't
was
trust it.
fine.
Point is, if he finds
don't
that
think-
fine, then
Hey.
Attack on Titan for him would be fine. He wouldn't care about the assassination
Wait,
of
I
certain
actually feel the
characters.
same way about Game of Thrones. I was so happy
Yeah.
it was over by the end of
No,
Game
there
of
are
Thrones.
actually some similar feelings I have about how Attack on Titan ended, as well as how Game of Thrones ended. There's like some similar vibes I get.
Yeah,
From the stories.
I
it
guess
is.
it's just like OC's cool with it.
Exactly. But to be fair,
I
I,
mean,
will
I think
say Attack
I-
on Titan's a little bit more enjoyable for me than
Yeah,
Game of
I have the
Yeah.
most
Yeah.
reasonable take on all of these things.
Thrones. It's okay. It's okay. It's okay.
Being reasonable,
It's okay.
y'all.
Reasonable. I
I
mean,
mean, well, logically speaking,
He's not trying to take it to extremes, y'all. Like, he's just like,
Yeah, I don't hold it against you, man. Like everyone
okay.
has their
Game of
subjective
Thrones
opinion.
season 8
Yeah.
was fine. We don't have
Yeah.
to rehash it.
that's
okay.
cool.
So,
All
yeah.
right, what else? What else?
Okay, so like now my real list. Last of Us was the best show that came out in 2023.
That's like our Spider-Verse, like above everything else.
Yeah.
Best live action, yeah.
yeah.
best live action.
Yeah, I will.
Best,
It's best live
yeah, best thing that came out this year. Everything. So as far as video game adaptations, this is the best video game adaptation that there's been. The Last of Us game is in itself a very cinematic game, so it lends itself to this kind of
It's
adaptation.
adaptable.
Yeah, exactly. And so what they did, and this was another project that the original creators of the game were involved in the creation of this show, and they were able to not only follow the game so much like to the satisfaction of anybody who played the game, but they were able to expand on certain elements in the game that might not have been as focused on, but like now they had an opportunity to flesh certain things out. focus in on some things, and it just added to the overall quality of the entire show.
And it definitely had a interesting ending that made you think. You know,
Yes, absolutely.
did he do the right thing?
Exactly.
It emulates what you feel when you play the game also.
Yeah, so that's that's
You
my
guys want to
thoughts
jump
on it.
around? Like,
For the best?
yeah, just like so that one person doesn't say everything at once.
Sure.
Okay. I guess I'll put in Gen V. I thought it was
Yeah.
a very interesting
Yeah, it was an
expansion
interesting
to the boys, and I'm definitely it really subverted your expectations, which is I loved about it. We did talk about the ending not being the best, but for the most part, for a first season, it did the best it can do, and I enjoyed it.
Yeah, I know people were up in arms about what we were saying about Gen V because you can critique things that you love, right?
Yeah.
Like, don't get it twisted. It's in all of our top lists. Like,
Yeah.
we really love Gen V. I think all the characters are really likable. Again, the concept is great. Anytime you have supers at like a school, whether it's a high school or a college, it's just like really fun and like chaotic to see. So
Yeah.
of course we're gonna
Exactly.
enjoy that.
Exactly.
I can jump in with one that I feel like is on a couple lists. Beef.
Oh yes, beef.
Beef, the limited
Yeah.
series on Netflix.
Yes.
Beef really hit for me, you guys. Like, the Asian American experience, right? The way they covered it, but also like there were like weird fantastical elements too for no reason.
Yes.
It's just that's like a signature of A24. There's always just something in there that's like what, and
And I think
was just
even
so
with that,
good.
we talked about the church.
Yes, the church thing. It was so
culture
accurate.
that they the church stuff that they included in the show. I think it's just a testament to how well they were able to adapt certain cultural realities into this show. As somebody who's not Asian, it's like it's cool to like have a window into that world, but like seeing them do that with the church culture that we grew up in,
Yeah.
it was like, oh my goodness, it felt genuine. It felt so like
Oh, see, I
so
think
well
the
done.
reason why is that they were just recording their actual service. This is what's going on. They were having the church service.
Yeah,
Stephen
one
Yeun
of-
plays the guitar. It's all part of the thing.
One
right?
of the really cool things about how they represented that whole culture, the church culture specifically, was like usually when you're seeing church represented in media in the modern day, it's usually for some sort of either like as a joke or for some sort of nefarious purpose.
Yeah.
But this was just like it was just a setting.
Yeah.
And it was
Yeah.
like it was just really cool to see it be done in this kind of neutral way.
yeah.
So it was really good.
I mean, just to kind of
Guess I should
emphasize, emphasize it being genuine, because you can praise things for having representation, right? Like we had like Crazy Rich Asians or like things where it's like, oh, this cast is like predominantly so and so ethnicity, but like it really doesn't mean anything if they don't include the complexities of like the individual experience, or if the performances aren't there and they don't dive into it more, which they did. The performances were there.
Yeah.
Steve Yeun is like he's
I should
he's
check
just
this
a
out.
god.
Yes.
Definitely.
Yeah,
Do.
it was just so good, and like
And
it
Ali
wasn't
Wong did a
talk
great
about
job.
subverting your expectations. You really think it's gonna go one way,
Yeah, exactly.
but every episode was making me stressed out. And again, it's like another A24 special. I feel like how Uncut Gems made me feel, the film. Every episode I was feeling, I was like, dude,
Exactly.
what's gonna happen now? Like
it-
these
it-
guys are crazy.
It felt like Breaking Bad at one point, where I was like, "Oh my god!" Like every moment
Yeah.
there was some twist, and they're at risk,
No.
and then their life is in danger. You're like, "Oh snap!"
I couldn't stop watching, and it's also, I don't watch a lot of shows because it's like sometimes I'm like, I don't have the time to watch this many episodes, especially if it's bad. So I just want to say, limited series is my favorite format for shows, because I'm like, okay, cool, it's done. Like that was like 12 episodes. I'm happy with that. I like the way that it ended. I was super satisfied. That was like a perfect show for me this year.
Nice.
Okay,
Nice.
Yeah.
So most of mine are like anime.
that's fine. I'm in there.
I think one of the best ones this year for me was a show called My Star, or Oshinoko. The first episode was like a super long episode, like an hour or something.
Really interesting.
Yeah,
I'm gonna write this down.
but it definitely got me into. It's kind of an interesting premise. I feel like if you're gonna watch it, I don't want to spoil it. But the best way to describe it is like it's sort of like reincarnation
Interesting.
in a way, but like with your memories.
Mm.
And then it dives into a lot of like idol culture, as well as like like stuff we're doing, like content creation and stuff
Like
like that.
Really?
Yeah.
And we have,
Wait,
and
that's
we have
really
memories playing.
intriguing.
Yeah, but it's not like yeah, so it's a bit of like supernatural stuff plus, but after the supernatural stuff happens, it's more so just like drama related things.
Okay, that's good.
Okay.
Yeah. But it's a really good show. It's really, the art style is really nice, the animation's really well done, the music, everything. I think it's definitely top like
Okay.
tier anime.
What did you finish your list or?
No, we're just kind of jumping around at this point, but I guess if we're coming back to me, I will go ahead and mention The Bear season 2. That's one of the. I think The Bear is one of the most interesting shows that's like running right now.
Yeah.
The way that they're able to create so much tension in scenes, just between the characters and with the situations that they're going through. It's so cool. It's just like a nice change of pace. It's just about like these people working in a restaurant. And
I love The Bear.
Yeah.
And I love it. I feel like it fueled this new interest in like culinary culture, but it's not glamorizing it really. It
No,
looks
not
so
at all.
chaotic and horrible, but I'm still like, oh, I have to watch because the
Yeah.
performances are so good and like the pace. And what I heard too is the way they make it is they make the episodes so fast. I think they wrap in like a week or two.
Oh, interesting.
Because they don't do a lot of takes for the scenes. They do like 1 or 2 takes. And you
That's
know,
so incredible.
even if there's a little bit of like a mess up or it wasn't exactly how the actor or whatever intended it, they just the creator just wants a more in the moment feel, so he just is like, that's
Keep
it,
it
like,
going.
yeah, let's keep it going, that one's done.
There was
On to the
an episode with I think it was a Christmas party with John Bernthal, and
That one was
That's such
crazy.
a good episode, and like to hear that they're not really spending a whole lot of time like getting the perfect take. It makes it so much more
Yeah,
impressive to
kinda
like
respect
see
it more.
the level of acting that's going on in some of these scenes. Yeah,
Yeah, because I feel like that's demanding too. Like having that in the back of your mind, like, oh, I only have like 2 shots to make this perfect. Like I feel like
Right.
that's pretty demanding for an actor, but also inspiring. I feel like
Right,
you can
right.
tell that the actors on this series are inspired.
Yeah,
And that's what I like to say.
Iowa DeBerry is great. Love her.
She's having a real moment right now. She's
She
like the
is.
people's Princess Diana right now.
She is. But yeah, that's my mention.
I'm gonna have to mention Scott Pilgrim Takes Off. Definitely one. I enjoy Scott Pilgrim, and I just love the aesthetic that they have with the whole 2000s and even making references. But I loved about this one was that it had a twist, a really misdirection of the whole thing. And what I think the misdirection did that add to the Scott Pilgrim was a more mature viewpoint to the whole themes of what Scott Pilgrim is about and how it grows and how each character grows from their experience with Ramona Flowers. So I really love that. I love, again, just it's crazy to think how many actors like freaking Chris
Evans.
Chris Evans, and then even I can't
All of
believe
them.
all
Literally
of them.
all of them.
Like the girl, I didn't even know Katara from Legend of, I mean not Legend of Korra. Avatar as Airbender is in this show. It's just like it's crazy
Who
to think
is
how many.
she?
She's
She's
the
one
woman.
of the
She's the girl.
exes.
She's one of the X. She's the girl
The
X.
girl X.
Oh really?
Yeah, that's.
Oh, so that wasn't the original girl.
No, that is the
No, that
original
is the
girl.
original
She's
girl.
she's
She does the voice of Katara.
Yes.
That's so cool.
Exactly.
Love her.
So you have that, and just like it's just I don't know. It's just again, it's just I loved it. It was I when I watched it on Netflix, I let spin through it. Like I literally was watching. Like I got to episode 7 like 2 days. That was just how much I enjoyed it.
Nice.
So good experience for me.
Yay. I feel like I want to segue into another animated one then, and that was Invincible season 2.
Yeah.
I mean,
It's
what?
not done yet though.
Yeah.
Okay, then let's not talk about
it.
it.
Yeah, not
You
talk
know
about
what?
it.
Let's
Should
not
we
talk
say-
about it because
Technically,
we
only
don't.
part of
Save
Attack.
it. We just save it.
Technically, only part of Attack on Titan season 4 came out this year too. So,
But it ended this year.
I mean, it still came
Bruh.
out.
Okay.
2 parts, but that's a whole different.
We
story.
all liked this first part. I'll
Okay.
just say that.
Invincible?
It's
Maybe
enjoyable.
we won't
Yeah.
dive in so
I mean,
that
we
we
can
go to the
we can
next.
segue into another anime one. Blue Eyed Samurai.
Is that a limited one?
Yeah.
Yeah. No, it's
No.
not. It's gonna have multiple seasons.
Yeah, that's true. That's
Yeah.
true.
I haven't watched it yet. I have to.
Yeah.
It is definitely one of the best animated shows I've ever watched, like ever, period.
Mm,
I really, really love that show.
yes.
That's high praise. It's probably the best animated show of the year, but
Yeah. I think could we?
I don't know about ever.
Are you considering
I'm gonna give it a solid ever.
anime?
Huh?
Or are you considering
Animation.
anime or
I'm
American
mainly
animation?
American animation.
Oh, okay.
For
Interesting.
this year, yeah, I could say that. Yeah, I don't think there's anything American.
Wow.
I wish Christine were here because I know she loves it.
Yeah, I love it.
And it's just such a great show. And like overall, there's a lot of intrigue in the story. There's a lot of intrigue with the characters. There's just a lot of great things about the show.
I really.
Oh, man,
it's
I
funny
can't
how
watch
you would like bash Scott about his thing on like gender and whatnot, but Blue Eye Samurai is a good example of them taking gender constructs and actually really expanding them and challenging our ideals and doing it in a way that feels not too pushy, but doing it in a way that's
fair. Barbie is very pro-woman. Blue Eye Samurai, she don't want to be a woman at all.
But it's different because they take a lot of those Okay, hold on. But you're making it. But see, you're already by saying that she's trying not to be a woman. You're already. That's
You're
already stereotyping. So
dumbing it down.
The point is.
That's not to say anything.
No spoilers.
I'm not spoiling it, but that definitely plays. The point is that really was to me an interesting aspect that they played in with it, because to me it kind of reminded me of Milan in that kind of aspect of like the whole ideal of masculinity
Milan.
and all this stuff, but it has like this level of John Wick with the action, because the action's like really good and intense and like crazy, and it's like how is she surviving with all these wounds? But it's just crazy.
Yeah, it's definitely very John Wick in that sense.
Yeah, very much so. Yeah.
But yeah, there's this. I love that aspect of it, but I just, even with all the characters, you see how they're all flawed, but they're also all like unique in their own special way. So it's just it's a well
Brenda
done
Song's
show.
character is an interesting one too.
That's and everything. Brenda Song was in it.
Yeah, that's why there's like a lot of different like interests in different characters and not just following one, you know?
Yeah.
Like the storyline and the story in general is complex. It's not just like a simple, like Demon Slayer is on my list as well.
Yeah.
But Demon Slayer, it's just like beautiful animation and action. The story is super simple.
Yeah.
This Blue Eyed Samurai is different. There's like complexity to it. And I like when a good story can be told in like an interesting way.
Yeah. But what I love about it's complex, but it's also like satisfying, because sometimes with complexity shows, it's like they get too much into the complex where they don't know how to resolve it. Where this one, even though it is continuing from another season, there's still a nice resolve to their arcs. So you didn't feel like it was too.
And I really love stories that they don't give you everything from the beginning, or they don't make it so that like they're spoon feeding you in chronological
they're
order,
not
all that
holding
stuff.
your hand.
Yeah, there's like stories in between that we get to see.
Yeah.
On occasion, like that time that she was, you know, and so forth. I don't want to.
Yeah, we try not to spoil it.
Yeah. So it was just like, wow, like there's way more depth to these characters than you first realize, and I really like that.
Yeah.
Gotta check it out.
Definitely.
I feel like no one has said One Piece yet, right?
Yeah, you can say One Piece.
Is it on no one's list?
It was on my honorable mentions.
It's on my list.
If you loved it, then it's
fine.
yo.
Yeah, we'll
I
talk
thought it
about
was really entertaining.
It was
good.
entertaining.
It was
That's
nice.
it.
Yeah.
That's
It was
it.
nice. Yeah.
All right.
I mean,
it was solid enough to the point where like I watched One Piece the Alabasta season afterwards.
oh really?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It was just like one of those shows that kind of, I don't know, because it's an adaptation, you know, you're always gonna have that comparison.
Yeah.
But I feel like for the most part, there was positive stuff being said about it, and I think instead of it being like a one-in-one comparison, they kind of like made it its own thing, and having it kind of revive the interest in One Piece was the best part about the show. Is like the revival of like One Piece.
It's a
fandom.
good adaptation.
It is.
I think the only issue I would have is like Zoro's character lacks humor, and that's it.
Yeah.
Because Zoro,
he's not as silly.
Zoro in
anymore.
One Piece.
Yeah, but I will
He's not
say.
as
I like that,
stupid.
though.
Yeah, but one thing I will say, and this is what I said, because it kind of got better as episodes go. I feel like when Sanji came in with Zoro, they had like a nice beef and banter, and that's where the humor came out. Like Sanji,
Maybe that's
I will say
what they
that
needed.
the actors, especially for Luffy and even Zoro, I would
like
say,
them all.
but specifically Luffy, like anytime that he was on screen, like I was smiling. Like the actor was like able to just elicit such a sense of joy as he was playing that character. It was just so much fun.
It's
to
a
to
solid-
watch.
They were
Solid
meticulous with the
adaptation.
casting for sure.
yeah. And then I also think it's Well, you also have to praise One Piece for giving us that many views because, like, I remember I literally made a short about the actors getting a lot of money, and I got like 50,000.
That was a
views.
good short. Good job, Jimmy.
Nice.
Yeah,
Nice.
but the money is crazy. Think about it.
Yeah, and it wasn't even on your list. Damn.
It's honorable mention. I had other shows.
Okay.
Okay. Did we complete everyone's list? Or are we?
I
on
still
honorable
have a
mentions?
couple.
Yeah, I still. I mean,
Dang, you
I
guys
think.
watched a lot of shows.
I mean, yeah. Scott hasn't mentioned. Oh, did you?
I can mention one. It's an anime. It's called Blue Lock. It's about soccer.
Oh,
I've heard of
okay.
Blue Lock.
I think it's a solid anime. I binged that one. That one was like
Yeah.
really. It was fun.
Have you
It was
watched
a good
other
watch.
sports animes?
Yeah.
And this is like maybe like one of the better
Yeah.
ones.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Definitely.
I love sports anime.
I think like I forgot what it was called. It was like Kuroko no Basket.
Yeah, Kuroko no Basket.
Yeah. That
Yeah.
one was like okay.
What
I
about
think
Haikyuu?
Haikyuu is like top tier best anime. Like one of the best animes like ever.
Yeah, okay.
Like they made like an anime about volleyball, and then
Interesting.
the amount of emotions and the animation and just the impact you feel from watching it is just incredible.
And Blue Lock is also good.
Yeah, Blue Lock
Yeah.
is like it hasn't finished yet, but like once it gets more seasons, I'll compare the two. But for now, Blue Lock is like on track to being like
So the
Somewhat
stakes,
as
the
good.
stakes are high, the emotions are high.
yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
intrigued.
I'll. Do you have any
Write
more?
that down.
Or-
Yeah, I do. I have two more. But for one, I'll mention Swarm. It's the Donald Glover show that he did.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, with I'm forgetting her name. The actress that was in it was very good, and yeah, it's just like this crazy like like descent into madness that you're watching
Okay.
for this girl, and yeah, it felt like Atlanta but darker.
Ooh, I'm looking forward to this.
Yeah, but like definitely very much darker. So you got some like murder and drugs in there. But yeah, it was I'll mention that just as far as like a show that made me think a lot and do a lot of
Nice.
Yeah, I'll definitely look for that.
What about Stan culture?
I will add in Demon Slayer season 3.
Nice.
I found it
Okay.
weird because a lot of people didn't like this season, and I guess I could
It was-
say,
it was a solid season. I just think it came off of season 2, which was like
yeah,
hypest season ever.
yeah. So that's fair. That's fair. I will say the ending with what happens. I don't want to spoil it. Is a little bit too
Too convenient.
what's the word? Yeah, convenient, whimsical, all that kind of like, oh, that happens to save it. But point is, overall, yeah, I loved it, and I'm putting that waifu on my list. So.
Yeah. It was
it
was a solid-
We love a waifu.
it was a solid season. That was gonna be an honorable mention for me.
Nice. Okay, and then I'll mention just real quick, this year Succession ended. It had the finale, and I think just as the quality of the show, it should be, it deserves its acknowledgments. Very well acted, very well performed. All of the direction in the show was done very well. Yeah, and I think it had an ending that all the characters deserved what they got.
Deserved. That's good.
Yeah, for the most part.
Nice.
And so this is on your legitimate list of 5.
Yeah, I'll probably include it as like number 5.
Okay.
Yeah.
But
I'll do some rapid fire real quick. So I think Jujutsu Kaisen season 2 definitely way better than season 1 in my opinion.
Yeah, it's more
Wow.
better.
Like a lot of people were like, oh, why don't you like season 1 or whatever, and it just wasn't that great. But
Exactly.
season 2 it goes above.
Yeah.
Definitely with action and animation. Story wise, it's still okay.
It's okay, but
But-
I do like how they built the villain, because I feel like I can
Yeah,
really
there's
understand.
some interesting things related to. I just feel like the main character isn't that interesting. But
I agree.
The characters around him are more interesting, especially like Gojo Sensei.
I
in the story.
see. That's my thing. I feel like the guy created it. He created these shows, and then he was all like, "You know what? I just want to have this." Like, I feel like he got too obsessed with the cool character. He's like, you know how like
The
for
side
Attack.
characters.
No,
Oh,
it's like
funny.
you know how like imagine if the creator of Attack on Titan was like, okay, I just want to focus on Levi, but let's screw Eren. and just do this. That's how I feel like what he did with Gojo. He's just so obsessed with him. But
It's like a type of fan service.
yeah, but you can make an argument he plays with the villains, so there's a level connection there.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Another anime that I enjoyed a good amount is Hell's Paradise.
Hell's Paradise.
It's like in Japan and back like before they had. I don't know if they had guns in that anime. I don't think they did, but it was mainly like ninjas and swords and stuff like that that they used, and some magical elements. But some criminals get sent to this island that nobody has ever come back from, and they're trying to look for like the elixir of life or something.
Oh, I love that.
And it has a good premise, and I thought the first season was well done overall.
So it's gonna have like a second season. It's been
Yeah, I read the manga. Personally, I thought the ending was okay, but like I thought season 1 was like solid. So.
Oh,
That's
I'm
nice.
intrigued. I can do some rapid fire. I think Loki, honestly, I watched it. It wasn't perfect, but I think the ending was pretty solid.
The ending was.
I feel like I'm glad it ended this way, especially what happened to John Mayers. I think this is a good way to take away him.
Yeah, Jonathan Majors.
It's probably they could legitimately end the Kang storyline off of Loki season 2.
They will. They are going to.
They have to.
They have
I think
to.
they should recast.
No,
They will.
I think they should just get rid of it.
No, but like
The way it's been built up at this point, it's just. I feel like
Yeah.
getting rid of it would be easier.
but they could turn it around in one good movie. They could turn around that character in one good movie.
I just don't think it's worth it.
It's in God's
I think
hands.
we've already played too
in
much.
God's hands.
I feel like we played too much with this multiverse. I think we just need to move on.
Yeah. So
No,
with
I
all,
agree.
yeah.
Move on from the multiverse, but oh well, whatever.
Well, that's what I'm saying. With all this going on, the fact that they were able to wrap it up in a way that was pretty satisfying was impressive to me. I mean, talking about proper send off with Guardians, I think Loki comes close to that vibe of like, they're ending this character and we might see him again.
It was just that last walk that really sold it.
Yeah.
I know. Yeah, it's like I was like, oh wow, like he's like a god again.
It was a solid ass last episode.
Yeah.
I think the rest of the season was like, it was entertaining sometimes, confusing
That's-
mostly.
Yes.
I
yes,
think we all
exactly.
agree.
But at the very end, that final
of
episode, we got to
redeemed
see a lot of
everything.
character
Yeah.
from Loki.
Oh yeah, 100%. There's some episodes that I hated.
Yeah.
But
Same.
the ending was good.
The episode where they get first introduced to Timely was so bad. It was bad.
Yeah, I was like real confused. Loki was solid. And then one last honorable mention for me is the Monarch show on Apple TV Plus.
Oh,
I mean,
interesting.
I mentioned earlier that Godzilla -1 revived my interest in kaiju media, and conveniently at the same time, you've got this Monarch show, which is connected to all of the Godzilla and King Kong films that have come out recently. But you know, those movies have their faults, right? They're not perfect. The show's kind of similar. The first couple episodes they start out really strong, and it's actually really cool seeing some of these like new kaiju you haven't seen before. The cast is really solid, and it's kind of like this mystery like that's happening like within this family that's involved with Monarch, you know, the whole organization that studies the monsters. And yeah, it's just kind of interesting. There's some like cool flashbacks even from like the first time anyone encountered Godzilla in that cinematic universe. And yeah, it's pretty entertaining so far. You know, Kurt Russell and Wyatt Russell, you know, they're a pretty good father-son duo in there. Well, Wyatt Russell plays like the younger version of Kurt Russell's character, and it's kind of fun to see. But yeah, I'm entertained so far. It's like actually not even finished yet, so you know, we'll see. I don't think it'll be like horrible like if it finishes up like next year, but so far like I'm fairly entertained, and that's why I had to mention it.
Is that everybody's list?
No, I still have one more. I would put as, I guess, for my best, the last for honorable mention would be Rick and Morty season 7. I thought the season was interesting because we got, Justin Roiland. Huh?
They have 7 seasons.
Yeah, 7 seasons. Yeah,
I know,
and it's
it's
been
kinda
10
crazy.
years since Rick and Morty, so that's also cool. Point is, it was different because Justin Roiland was gone, so it's like who's gonna fill in the voices as well. Since he's the creator of the show, it's like almost the show's gonna be a little bit different, and it was different. But there were some bright sides. I felt like they had some of the best episodes in the series in this season, as well as some of the worst episodes. So it's a counterbalance. But overall,
mixed bag.
It was a mixed bag, but overall, it was good in the positive mix, especially with some of it answering a lot of questions, even deeper to the lore, and to the point that it kind of ended Rick's arc, because Rick had this revenge arc, and now they kind of ended it. So now they're opening up broad into what's going to happen with Rick and Morty next. So it is an interesting aspect to see what they've done with it. So yeah, I enjoyed it.
For an honorable mention, I will bring up Ahsoka. I think the Ahsoka TV show, it gave us some of the best like Anakin Skywalker content that we've ever seen, live action especially. There's a whole like not a dream sequence, but like Place Beyond the World sequence with Ahsoka and Anakin, and you have Hayden Christensen back as Anakin Skywalker in this role, and just that whole episode. Like, if you're a fan of the Clone Wars television series, that like I love Clone Wars. If you're a fan of the Clone Wars, then Ahsoka is like your show. Like, is without a doubt, just for that episode alone. And then also, if you're a fan of Rebels, this is basically like Rebels, the next season of Rebels after that show ended. So they had a ton of like really cool stuff in that show that, while I wouldn't put it as like, the best, because like there were some flaws in it, of course, but it had so many wonderful stuff. I think I rewatched that Anakin episode like 3 or 4 times.
Nice.
Star Wars fans are eating good.
All right, last few honorable mentions. I won't talk about them too much. I'll just rapid fire. Castlevania Nocturne, I thought that one was good. There's an anime called Mashley. It's basically like a magicless dude in a magic world. And then Rurouni Kenshin, they did a remake of it.
Oh, interesting. I heard about that.
Yeah,
Really?
so everything's like spruced up and
So is it a remake or is it a continuation?
complete remake
Oh, okay,
Interesting.
of
remake.
the anime. So,
Oh,
Okay,
okay.
that's
so the anime used to have like an art style that's like older, and now they
Yeah.
updated it with like newer art.
Yeah.
Like it?
Interesting.
I'm
cool.
enjoying it. Yeah,
Rurouni
It's-
Kenshin.
Yeah.
I'm intrigued.
Yeah.
I enjoyed the old one to begin with.
I remember that.
I loved watching the old one.
I remember the
Oh,
old
man.
one
It's been
too.
so long that I really
Yeah.
don't
So
remember
much
a lot of
content
the
to
story.
dive into right
It's
now.
like Saito just showed up. I'm like, yeah.
Exactly.
he has that like philosophy that I thought was so cool as a kid.
Yeah.
Okay, and then Spy Family season 2. I thought that was a fun watch.
Okay.
That's pretty much it
Okay.
on my
Alright.
side. Pretty much like all anime.
We have so much to watch now because I feel like we were all mentioning stuff that maybe the other hadn't watched, and now I'm like, oh my
Yeah, our
gosh.
TV show list is definitely very different compared to the.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think I didn't really watch too many movies. I just like spent most of my time watching anime.
Yeah.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
can tell now.
Yeah, exactly. But we thank you all for being with us while we were talking about this, as well as other stuff in the channel. We hope in the future we also put more content that's related to this stuff, as well. Just enjoying this experience, talking about TV, movies, and sharing these experiences with us. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and we'll see you in 2024.
Happy New Year.
Peace.
Peace.